your stick, honey. Look, that's where Catherine is, up in the...
Good morning, everyone. Catherine, where are you?
I'm very nearby La Rochelle on an island.
I heard island.
Oh, on an island. On an island
Yeah.
off the coast. Oh,
Yeah,
looks very beautiful. I wish I
it
was.
is.
other side. Lee circles. And reverse. And shoe circles. And reverse. And pink circles. And reverse. And reverse. Okay, you can put away your sticks. Okay, yesterday we started working on the theoretical and the practical foundation of silk reeling, which is the ability to move the whole body in spirals. So let's review a little bit of what we did yesterday. I can't go into great detail because we don't have time. So those who missed it yesterday should look at that link that I sent you this morning. It's about, I don't know, half an hour long or so, but it'll give you a lot more information. But the first thing that we focused on yesterday was how many pieces there are to your arm, and especially your shoulder. So let's start with that. So the arms outstretched, right? And you're just gonna move your hands, just your hands back and forth. Of course, your forearms will move a little bit too. Don't worry about it. Just your hands. That's the first segment. Now you could get really picky and actually look at the segments of the fingers, and actually they do that. But that's for the more advanced version of silk reeling, right? Now just the hands. That's the first section. Second section is the forearms. All right. Third section of the upper arms. And then we started doing this to get to the fourth section. The fourth section is the shoulder. And the reason we wanted to focus on this is most folks have kind of a limited view of what your shoulder is. They think your shoulder is this knob out here at the connecting your arm to your trunk. But it's not just that. Your shoulder actually goes from here all the way into the center. So that's the fourth section. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Which means when you do shoulder rolls, right, you should be opening and closing your shoulders. So let me get a little tape here. And then we're going to do this. When you're doing shoulder rolls, you should be opening and closing your shoulders. It's not about just moving your shoulder in a circle, but the shoulder's not actually moving. All right? You want to move the shoulder, which means you're going to open it and you're going to close it. Open it and close it, which means you need to spiral your hands open, spiral your hands closed. Open, close. Open, close. All right? And then on top of that, you may notice when you are opening and closing your shoulders that it activates your trunk. When you open your shoulders like this, round them open, and the shoulder actually moves back, right? All the way from here to here, it's rolling open, right? That's going to open your Tanjong, right? Boom! Now suddenly I'm up in this spot here. Then when I close them, I drop down into this spot here in the back. This spot is called the Tanjong, which means literally chest center, right? Or center chest, as we would say. The back of the Dantian is called the Ming Mun, which means the gate of life between the kidneys, because your kidney function is the gate of life for you, all right? Open, close, all right? okay, if I'm going to open and close my shoulders, my whole arm, all four segments of my arm are moving all the way into the sternum. And my whole trunk is moving. But you also have to get your legs involved. All right? So yesterday I asked, pay attention when you're doing this. Pay attention to your legs. What's happening in your legs? Well, first of all, you're shifting your weight. Left, right, left, right, left, right. All right? And then where is the chi in your legs? And Annie answered correctly. When you are closing, the chi is on the inside of the legs. When you're opening, the chi is on the outside of the legs. And that's true actually for every part of the body. When you close the arms, the chi's on the inside of the arms. That's the yin side. When you open, they're on the outer yang side. When you close your trunk, the chi is on the inside, the soft inside. When you open, it's on your back. So you're going from yin to yang. Yin, yang. Drawing energy in, energy goes out. In, out, in, out. Shift your weight. It's a shoulder exercise, but actually every joint in the body is moving. So I said yesterday, the secret to silk reeling, it's not a Western exercise. It's not about pumping iron and getting big muscles. It's about moving your chi. And to move your chi, you must use your mind. Now, it'll happen naturally anyway. If you're just walking around doing things, of course your chi is going to move. All right? The reason that you do practices like silk reeling is to make the movement more efficient. All right, so it's not just moving part of your body. I'm just moving my arm. The rest of my body's kind of not doing anything. That's okay, but it could be a lot better. All right? The health benefits from any form of Qigong come from the movement of Qi through the body. All right? So to move from just moving one little part of your body to moving the whole body with everything is like moving from 10% to 100%. Okay,
Can I clarify something?
Sure.
The movement, the shoulder is causing all the movement down here. The movement is not coming from up, it's coming down. It originates.
That's an excellent question, Kevin. And that's actually going to be the subject matter of today.
Okay.
We're going to do a set of the exercises just because I want everybody to get some exercise and just focus on this business of being the whole body, everything. Call it a shoulder exercise, but your ankles are involved too. And then we will move on to Kevin's question, which is, what is the chi path? All right? It's not just that everything's moving all at the same time. There's actually a path that the chi follows in your body for any silk reeling move or any move in Tai Chi. And it's always the same path. So if you learn it for one exercise, you can apply it to any other exercise. So let's just do a set of shoulder exercises just like we normally do. But just remember, all right? Really move the shoulder. And it's going to move all the way into the center. And don't forget, this is also an exercise for the back. So you're stretching open here but in the back you're closing. And then as you come forward, now you stretch open in the back and close in the front. And reverse. What are your ankles doing? What about your knees? Remember what I said about your hip joints yesterday. When you roll your shoulder, you also roll your hip. And the other side. Roll the hip, roll. Try this. Use your hand around your hip, right? And describe a circle. Can you feel how that activates your waist? Right? The daimai that goes around the waist. That's going to be key to the answer to Kevin's question. And reverse. All right, feet side by side, alternates. Open the chest. Open the chest. Open the chest. Open the chest. All right. Roll the shoulder. Roll the shoulder. It opens. Or the other direction. Or we do them side by side. I'll come up close to the camera. All right. The way you roll your shoulder is to open your hand. Look at the palm of my hand. Open it. Look what happens with your shoulder when you do that. All right. All right. It almost tore the tape off my shoulder. And I'm opening all the way into here, which means it's going to close in the back. And then when I close in the front, it must have to open in the back. And reverse. Now close the hand. All right, when you close the hand, it makes the shoulder turn. The way I explained this yesterday is you have 4 segments in your arm, and there's an axis that goes from your arm, from the tip of the finger all the way into the sternum. And if you're going to turn that, you turn around that axle. You're going to go around and around this axle, right? That's a Lee circle. That's a front to back circle like this, right? So if you want to roll the arm in silk reeling, you have to roll all 4 segments, the whole arm, all the way into here. But suppose you're not doing it like this. Suppose you're doing it like this. Now you have 2 axles. You have one axle that goes down the length of the arm, and you have another axle that is just like this. The only part of the arm that carries this axis is the 4th part. So the 4th part is still going to continue to turn in a Lee circle, but the lower 3 parts here are going to be turning in a ping circle. That is a flat circle. So you're doing a Lee circle and a ping circle at the same time. Don't think about it, it'll confuse you. All right? But that's what you have to do. So it's not just about rolling the shoulders like this. It's about engaging the lower arms too. And now you're getting a compound circle, but you're getting a full circle. Can you feel that?
Yeah.
And reverse. Okay. Silk reeling is for 2 different purposes. For Qigong, it's for health. And the way it works is moving the qi through your tissues. So if you have tissues where the qi's not moving, they're not going to get the benefit. All right? So the 2 things that you have to pay attention to make that work are, 1, relaxing. If you're stiff in a place, if your shoulder's all stiff, maybe you've got an injury, an old shoulder injury. All right, like all right, so that gets real stiff. That means the qi's not going to flow through that area. So you just be very gentle with it, right? And just move very gently and just sort of encourage the qi to go through that area without pushing it through. Just kind of invite it through very gently. Right? The other thing you have to pay attention to is parts of your body that you don't know about. So what parts of our body don't we know about? Well, we don't know about our backs. We generally don't know about our feet and ankles. We don't know about our lymph system. We don't know about fascia. We don't know about most of our body. So one of the things that you get that you need to apply to make silk reeling work, and that you also learn from silk reeling by watching yourself inside, is what you really are physically, how it works, and how to engage all parts of your body. I said yesterday, and I emphasize it again today, you can do this very gently. In fact, it's good to do it gently, but you have to do it 100% for the health benefits. What do you do for the martial arts? Well, the shoulder reels, for instance, are for things like this. So if Annie's a bad guy, and she comes in here and she pushes me on this shoulder here, right, up on my shoulder, and she pushes. So one way to deal with that is to just roll your shoulder, and you see how she just fell off it. Boom. Now, I'm not doing anything in particular. This is just a defensive move, but I've rolled my shoulder because I've trained myself to roll my shoulder. I might even want to sucker her in a little further so I don't roll my shoulder right away. In fact, I'll give her a little, right. So she's going to get, yeah, now I got it, right? She pushes harder. Now I release, all right? So you learn to use every part of your body like that, both defensive and offensive. The offensive part of this is if somebody's this far away, you can punch him. But suppose that person is right up next to you. You can't punch him with your fist because there's no room. So what do you punch him with? You punch him with your shoulder. All right? You punch him with the shoulder, right, into his chest or into his side or someplace like that. And there are some masters in China who are very impressive with that. All right? So we're not trying to learn the martial art of this, but the understanding of the body from the martial arts has been brought into the health art, and it's very helpful if you pay attention. Okay, we only got 15 minutes left, and I want to go on to the next step, which is it's not just that it's a whole body movement. It's that it's a whole body spiral. So let's take a look. I made a little chart up here. So honey, open up the okay, so there are when you do silk reeling, what you're playing with is the interface between your mind and your energy body, not your mind and your physical body. It's between the mind and the physical body. So
The
I'm gonna.
energy body.
Sorry, the energy body. Yeah. So you could say your mind and your chi. Let's just go ahead and say mind and chi. All right. So in Chinese, the two words for that are Xin Yi and Nei Gong. Xin Yi means your mental intention. And it's actually made from two words. Xin, X-I-N, means your heart. Yi means your mind. So in China, when you think, when you intend something, you don't just intend it with your brain. You intend it with your heart and your brain. So your Xin Yi is, we can just translate it into English as intention. What you intend to do. And then Negong, Negong is also made from two words, ne and gong. Ne means inside, so it means something inside you. Gong means to cultivate, so it's to cultivate something inside. When you say someone has, in China, when you say in the martial arts, someone has good gong, G-O-N-G, right? It's the same gong as in gong fu, kung fu, right? Kung fu is the Cantonese pronunciation. Gong fu is the Mandarin pronunciation. When you say someone's got gong, what you mean is they've got some stuff. You can have gong as a lawyer. You can have gong as a cook. You can have gong as anything. It means excellence of practice. All right? But it also implies knowing the technical parts of how things actually work. Okay, so let's put that in here. So your mental intention and your energetic dynamics, how things work. And that's technical. That's like if you want to learn to be a musician, you've got to understand the dynamics of your instrument, of your piano or guitar or flute or whatever it is you're playing. All right. Okay. Two words that you can use to describe this, I think, in English. Are pattern and matter. Matter includes your physical body, but it also includes your energy body. Energy is is real in the world, so it's could be covered by the English word matter. Pattern is what you do with your mind. When you do a Tai Chi move or a silk reeling move, right? You're performing a pattern of movements. And you have to have that pattern in your mind. It's not going to come out of your body. It's going to come out of your mind.
Remind them where those words come from.
I'm going to.
Okay.
All right. So this side of the equation is yang, and this side is yin. All right. Everything in this column is yin. Everything in this column is yang. Now, if you want to translate that into English terms, let me show you a little trick here. The root, the root of the word matter, the Indo-European root, is matri. Jill, do you know what the word matri is the root of in English? Besides matter. Let's go on to pattern. All right.
Hello, mother. Hello, father.
Patri. Those are the root words for mother and father.
You're in.
Oh, I've got them. I've got them around here.
Okay, that's interesting because I was thrown off. Maitri, which I know in Tibetan means loving kindness.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the connection is not by chance, right? So I'll have to put father up there when it dries out a little bit, right? So this is how it works. This is the logic behind it. All right. Okay. So we've only got 5 minutes left. We'll have to continue this tomorrow, but I'll just throw this in so you see a little bit about where this leads. It's actually a very simple idea. The Qi always follows the same path. It always starts in your mind. Your mind and your energy are, just like I had up on the board, they're not opposed to each other. They're just two sides to the same coin. Now, it's true that the head side of the coin and the tail side of the coin are different. And in a certain way, they're opposite to each other, but actually they're the same thing. And that's exactly the relationship between mind and energy in the body. They are actually the same thing. So an intention forms in the mind. That's the beginning of Qi. That's the beginning of movement. Then it's going to move to the Danchen. Why? Because the Danchen is the center of your being. If the dantian doesn't move, nothing else is going to move. It's not going to move. It's not going to be very strong or very efficient. Then it's going to go to the ground. In essence, you're grounding the dantian into the ground because you always have to use the ground to do a motion. All right? So suppose I'm going to push someone in that direction. Watch. Here to here, down to the ground, back to the dantian, up to the shoulders, and then out the arms. If I was going to throw an elbow instead of it coming out to my hands, it would go through the same pattern and come out at my elbow. If the guy was standing really close and I just had to shove him, I'm going to do exactly the same path, but now it's going to come out my shoulder, right? So I'm going to sink and I'm going to use my shoulder to push it. I'm going to put my shoulder right into his chest or his side and push him with my shoulder. What if you're going to knee somebody? Well, it's the same thing. It goes down to the ground, comes back up into the knee, right? Just like in the form. It's always the same pattern. And if you think about it, it really can't be any other kind of pattern, because it starts in the mind and recruits the whole body. What's the difference between a whole body and a half a body? Well, half a body is not very efficient. Your power depends on your mass and your speed of movement, your acceleration. And people tend to think of acceleration as just moving forward, but there's also rotary acceleration. So just moving in a spiral like that is acceleration. That's where you get your power. So if you're only recruiting your arm, well, it's the weight of your arm times it's not very strong. Suppose you had both arms, well, then it's stronger. Suppose it's both arms in your trunk, well, now it's starting to turn into something. Suppose it's both arms, your trunk, and your legs, including sinking into the ground and using the ground reaction force. Now you've got something. That's the martial side, but it's also the health side, because in order to grab everything in your body and move it, you have to engage every cell in the body. So you have to soften and relax everything, and then use the technical part of the theoretic part of what we're doing, and practice it and practice it and practice it, right? So that you don't even think about it anymore. Right? It just becomes something you can do. All right, we're out of time. We have 2 minutes. Any questions?
Let's see if you've answered Kevin's question.
Kevin, did that? We sort of did a little short there. We'll do more tomorrow. But did that answer your question?
Yeah, I think I got it. And just this whole spiraling thing. I mean, a baseball batter does it, a tennis player does it, a golfer does it. It's just you wind your body up and then you unleash it, and the energy comes out the end. Yeah, it's like,
That's exactly right. I like the word unleash. It's
yeah,
exactly
yeah.
you unleash it. And when you practice Tai Chi and Qigong, and you know what you're doing, so you're actually doing it, and you relax into it, it's very pleasurable. Back in the day, I was at a Chinese banquet with some high-level disciples of Grandmaster Feng's, and one of them said, we were talking about Qigong, and some Americans asked him, why do we do so much Qigong? I thought this was Tai Chi. Why are we doing so much Qigong? And this guy, Chen Shang was his name, said, Qigong should be absolutely pleasurable. you should not have any questions about doing Qigong. If you think that it's just sweat work that you have to do to get better in Tai Chi, you're missing the whole point. Qigong is pleasurable. It's like giving yourself a really good massage. And then he went on and said, it's actually better than sex. And since we were a table of guys, we all laughed, ha ha ha. And he laughed too, but he said, I'm not kidding. Sex is actually a form of Qigong, which is a way of saying that whatever you're doing is actually a sacred thing. You know, it's very much like the Tibetan Buddhist way of looking at things. Yeah, you can have really crappy sex, but you can also have sacred. So I'm serious, it's true. Andy's over here going, oh, don't talk about sex. Sex, 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 right?
You got to have that qua going.
You got to have that qua moving. And if you think of this as it is, all right, as a health art, it should be pleasurable. You should feel
You
like,
should
my
have a
God, this feels great.
You should have a smile on your face when you're done.
You should have a big smile on your face when you're done. All right, tomorrow we'll go a little bit more into the practicalities of how to do the spiral, because you have to grab not just the path, but that the path is moving everything in spirals. And once you grab hold of that, you'll have the essence of silk reeling. All right, guys, have yourselves a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Ciao.